How you doing? This is Sean McVeigh with Sean's Outdoor Adventures, and in this episode I'm going to show you how to tie on a D-loop. The first thing I like to do is prepare my loop material, and you're going to push on the ends like this to fan them out. I've kind of already done that. And then you take a lighter and you actually melt the ends. You want it to kind of get a mushroom look to it. Now I've melted the first side there. I'm going to let that dry and set, and then I want to double check with my ruler about the where I'm at with the measurement of this piece. I want to be around 4 1/4 inches, and if I'm not close, I'm going to fan my other side out even more to use it up. Again, you don't want to touch this at all. You want it to kind of cure just like that. And now you're ready to go tie your knot. Now what I'll do, I have my level on, I've knocked an arrow, I have my level on over here. I intentionally have the knock point a little high. The reason is this type of drop away rest, I just put it on, I haven't even tuned it yet, but it needs an 1/8 of an inch clearance on the shelf here. And it's already at that level. So if I'm going to need to move it, I want to have to move it up and not down. And so I'm favoring right now a slightly high knock point, so that if I do need to move my arrow rest, I'm going to have to move it up in order to get this all perfect. And then I'll double check all of my measurements, put my kisser button back on, and adjust the peep here if necessary. So one of the things I like to do is start by putting my arrow on and checking all my levels, and then I like to make a little mark with a marker where my knock point is, where it needs to be, and then I'm going to tie my first knot right on top of that. So I'll start by coming behind the string, around on the downside where closer to where the arrow would be, straight up, and then I'm actually going to have to feed this through a little farther. So come around on the downside, straight up, back around the front of the string, closer to you on the camera. Remember, I started off on the opposite side of the string, and then I'm going to come through from the back on the side that I started from. Now it's going to create this knot here. I'm going to pull it tight, and that's my little mushroom on the end there, that mushroom shape that I showed you before. And I'm just going to slide this right down onto there. I'm pulling it tight with my hands, and that's just pulling it tight with my hands isn't going to make it that super tight. So I'm just getting it right on my line there, pulling it tight. Now to do my next knot, I started on the back side of the string for the first knot, so I want to start on the front side of the string for my second knot. I'm going to come around, I'm going to come up through where the arrow would be. Remember, our first move each time is closest to where the arrow would be. I'm going to come straight down along the back of the string, around the bottom, and then back through this little hole that I just made. And I'm got it worked into there. Okay. Now you can see it's very tight. I'm going to take I have one of these tools for tying this knot, and I'm going to actually, before I do that, I want to double check where my peep sight is, and I want to line this up with the direction my peep sight is going. So now I've got that lined up. I'm going to stick this tool in, and this particular tool is not a very good one. I'm going to replace it. Get that right on my knock point, and now I'm going to spread that, make sure I'm in the correct direction with my peep sight. Okay, now I'm going to spread that like that, and there's my loop. Again, As you can see, the mushroom head is facing the camera on this side, and the mushroom head is facing the opposite direction on the other side, and that's going to prevent the loop from spinning around the string on my shot. If you have both knots facing the same way, when you shoot, your loop is going to begin to spin around the string. So there you have it. Tying a D-loop is just that easy, and it really helps if you do pick up one of these, plier type tools that spreads that loop and helps you get those knots nice and tight. Before I bought this, I used to use needle nose pliers, and I'd stick the nose in and then pull the handles apart to try to spread it, but you don't get as good and tight of a knot set with those. So I really suggest just if you want to be tying your own D-loops, just spend the money and get one of these. I think I probably spent maybe around 15 bucks for this one, and I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna be replacing it. I just don't quite like this one. I prefer the ones where the handle comes out this way from the prongs. Like this one's perpendicular to the prongs. I like them when it's parallel. I don't know how else to explain it. So if the handle came straight back this way, it's also the prongs themselves here are a little too thick. So sometimes your D-loop where your knock sets in there can be a little too wide, and the knock can move around with this particular pair. So anyway, those are the reasons I don't particularly like this one. Didn't learn that until after I bought it. Anyway, that's it. Tie a D-loop. Have fun. Bye-bye.